First and foremost, let's talk about this tour, should we? Because a 2-year tour going right across the globe, biggest ever. He's not going to be out of the country for 2 years, is he?
No. These are going to be...
Thank heavens.
These are going to be trips made during the course of the next 2 years. The biggest number of royal overseas engagements since the 1970s, when the Queen embarked on a similar large tour for her Silver Jubilee and surrounding years. But it's important, he's taken on that mantra that the Queen always said, I have to be seen to be believed. And he wants to hit the ground running. And it's very important, of course, because unlike here in this country, people in Canada and Australia and New Zealand don't get to see the royal family very often. And you need to really cement the bonds at the start of a new reign. It's important that they realise he's just as much their king as he is our king. And so going out to those parts of the larger Commonwealth realms, but also, importantly, the Caribbean, where we know there's been a lot of...
So that's an interesting decision.
The Republican debate is very, very strong in those countries. But interestingly, a poll taken a couple of weeks ago in Australia shows that support for the monarchy is at the highest level for years. Over 50% want to keep the monarchy now there, showing some degree of support for King Charles. That we've seen a huge surge in support for him in this country, and it seems as if that's also happening elsewhere too.
So it's part PR campaign, really, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, and without any doubt, it's a PR campaign, but it's also important to remember often people don't realise New Zealand is a monarchy, Australia is a monarchy, and it's important that actually that the crown is seen there. If it's not seen there, people will forget about that, and it's important to stay relevant. And, of course, going to Australia will provide an occasion in 2024 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of their oldest legislature in New South Wales. So the monarchy goes to these countries to actually take part in important national and constitutional ceremonies and celebrations to become part of that national story, just like we see them taking part in those things here.
They're due a vote, aren't they? A referendum on the monarchy in 2024-25.
Where in Australia?
Yeah.
Well, the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, has said that he's not going to deal with it in his first 3-year term, but it'll become after that. But he has appointed a Minister for the Republic, which is quite an unusual thing to have happen. But as I said, currently,
good timing,
the monarchy's riding high at the moment, and long may it continue.
Talking about interactions between the royals and politicians, the King is in London today, and of course, when we look at what's happening in our political sphere, that could be significant.
Yes, one wonders why he's in London. Well, he's in London quite a lot, but yes, added significance. It's funny, it's strange to recall that it was a few weeks ago, of course, that the Queen was in Balmoral, shaking hands and appointing, kissing hands, shall we say, with Liz Truss. My gosh, it wasn't that long ago, but how much seems to have happened in those interceding few weeks, both with the Queen's death and the funeral and the political turmoil. This will be the Liz Truss, despite her short reign, the first Prime Minister to serve under 2 monarchs for 70 years. Yes, we'll see whether Rishi gets the call to come to Buckingham Palace. Now, as we were discussing, Buckingham Palace is undergoing this major renovation, which will take 5 years and will be about £370 million, but it's still open for business. So whilst the King is living at Clarence House, he will be at Buckingham Palace, as will his office staff, and most of the admin will be taking place there. So if Rishi Sunak is called to kiss hands, he will be going to Buckingham Palace, we assume, for that important ceremony.
Right. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? I saw a tweet, actually, from someone the other day, yesterday, I can't think who it was now, but saying, my son has lived through 3 Prime Ministers, 3 Chancellors, I don't know how many Home Secretaries, and 2 monarchs, and he's 4 months old.
Yes, well...
it's extraordinary times, isn't it?
Several weeks ago, someone said, I've got some meat in the fridge that's outlasted several Prime Ministers and 2 monarchs too, so...
Hopefully in the freezer, not the fridge,
Let's hope so. Rafe, thank you very much indeed.